Hello, my name is Muhammad and I will begin with the introduction for this assignment. So, for this assignment, we will begin with the Employment Act 1955. What is Employment Act 1955? This act is indeed a very important labor legislation that provides a comprehensive legal framework. Among them are the payment of employee salaries, day off, public holidays, retrenchment, and so on. The Employment Act 1955 was enacted in 1955 and was amended almost entirely in 1998. This act contains provisions aimed at protecting employees from any exploitation by the employer and place minimum benefit required to be given to the employees. So, this Employment Act 1955 was the main labor law enforced in Peninsular Malaysia and Federal Territory of Labuan that govern the relationship between employers and employees in the private sector also. So, for employment of women, employment of women is about any work that done by women. Under this, the woman can have their right according to women need and right that male worker also get. Under employment of women, there is provision of night work. There is also provision of underground work. There is also employment by the minister. So, for provision of night work, no matter the circumstance, a woman employee are not permitted to work the night shift. For underground work, no female employee should be employed in any underground working according to Section 35 Part V2 of the Employment of Women. Under employment by minister, female workers are given some restriction and something different from that governed under Employment Act that forbid discrimination against women. So that's it for me.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurafika binti Matajuddin. I will continue at prohibition of night work. Firstly, under the Section 34 of the Employment Act 1955, it is to protect the right for working women in Malaysia from working at night shift. Employers are not allowed to require their women workers or staff to work between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So, due to this existence of this prohibition, logically, it is to preventing bad things happen to women. Also, allows women's right to be better protected. Furthermore, as we are all aware, the number of criminal cases in Malaysia is rising daily, with the majority of these instances being violation for women's rights. Due to the night shift, female employees are more exposed to the lonesome mood and dismal surrounding at work, which would make any woman in this position feel threatened. However, this prohibition does not apply to all industries. Only for some industries, such apply to industrial and agriculture ventures. Therefore, women still can work at night in sectors such as commerce, hospitality, public health, and entertainment. But still, there are a way that the employer can take to ensure the safety for their women's employees. They may offer for free secure transportation options between employees' home to workplace, offering enough restroom or washing facilities, with separate water supply for female staff in order to provide privacy. Then lastly, for employer or female employees who insist wants to work at the night shift, employers may apply to the Director General of Labour for an exemption, which the Director General may allow with conditions. Employers need to obtain a work permit or permission from the Director General of the department first. If the employer does not have this permit, then the employer is subject to warnings, instruction, and legal action in the form of penalties from the Department of Labour. Next, move to the for women and underground work. According to an employment of women in the Employment Act, it states in the Section 35 that no female employee shall be employed in any underground working. In this context, The meaning of underground works is all construction work that occur beneath the natural surface of the earth and within an enclosed space. Underground work for women is very common issue, where every country know the situation where women are prohibited to work in underground. This provision is to ensure the women protection for the female workers. In Malaysia, there is a law that stipulates that women cannot work in underground mining operation. Lastly, women and underground work is not a common issue in Malaysia, since the current economic where underground extraction of minerals are rarely happened. Until now, there is no issue that women need to work in underground mining.
My name is Dickson Eric Anauli. I'm going to talk about prohibition of women employment by minister. Women are different compared to men in every aspect, which is physically, mentally, and emotion. Therefore, there is a special act that protects women's right on their employment under Employment Act 1955. As stated under Section 36 of Employment Act 1955, prohibition of employment by minister is about the notwithstanding the provision of this part the minister by order or permit the employment of female employees in such circumstances or under such condition as may describe in such order. Section 36 of Employment Act is the sequence from Section 34, Prohibition of Night Work, and Section 35, Prohibition of Underground Work. Referring to Section 34 of Employment Act, women employees are prohibited to work after 10 p.m. This is due to the crime that frequently occur during night, such as rape, sexual harassment, and snatch thief. Therefore, the government has the right to prohibit women from working late night. As for the Section 35 of Employment Act, which is prohibition of underground work, women employees are prohibited from doing underground work. This is due to many underground work were done by men. The underground work done by men because it requires physical strength. The government prohibit women from doing underground work because the government concerned about women's safety when they were required to do such a hard work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nushuda binti Abubakar. I will present maternity protection. Maternity protection is the right of woman worker. It's an important component of health protection and treatment protection to pregnant women. It's aimed to reduce the burden faced in the rising cost of living and is a protection of woman worker at workplace, as well as included in the Employment Act 1995. The Ministry of Human Resources has studied to improve application for private maternity leave for 60 days to 90 days. This maternity protection also very important to reduce the challenge faced by worker women due to child by without being cremated by employer. 4.1 Section 37 Period of eligibility and maternity eligibility allowed. According to the section, female employee are entitled to a minimum 60 days to 90 days from the end of maternity period. They will be given pay leave every time she can work, as well as maternity allowance from this current employee maternity leave entertainment period. Women worker in the private and government sector in the Peninsula Malaysia is eligible for pay maternity leave for 90 days for women worker in the organization. Section 57 of the Employment Act discusses the right of the pregnant woman to maternity leave, maternity allowance, and the eligibility period of maternity leave. For example, any day of rest, public holiday that is under 90 day entitlement to pay maternity leave under A is included in the calculation. Rest and public day leave are two forms of leaving that instead of short-term the period. As a result, PML actually time has been shortened to 44 days. 4.2 Section 38 Payment of the maternity allowance. Allowance is a payment given to a person by an organization on a regular basis. Maternity allowance described in Section 32 and occurs each ways to period under the contract of service of the female employee shall be paid in the same manner as were received during the pay period as provided in Section 90. The first is maternity allowance as a wage. Maternity allowance are not bonus or in excess of employee salary as they compensated based on the salary received while they work. For example, a pregnant woman employee needs to inform the employer about the method and the start date of the maternity leave. If she start maternity leave without informing the employee, the payment of the allowance can be suspended under notice to her employee. Second is a maternity allowance for 5 children. This allowance can help pregnant women without worry about hospital bill because it will be borne by the employee during the period that women work in the organization. This maternity allowance is limited for 5 children only, which will be borne by organization. It can reduce the burden on the family when this act is implemented by the government. It also act that can be protect pregnant women when the women during the working period. Third is a aspect of service requirement. An employee who meets the standard of the service is eligible for maternity allowance. For example, an employee must be employed by the employer for some period or not less than 90 days in the working period, and a woman who is 9 months pregnant and at the time with 4 months is also used by temporary and permanent workers in the organization. It's an important act to provide comfort to the female worker and protect pregnant women. Section 39 payment of allowance to dominate on that of female employee. Under the legislative as amended on 1st April 2012, a female worker will be given maternity protection if she gives birth to her child in the 20 weeks, which means to 6 months at the date of life. Referring to the above, it states that the dominant of the female employee is entitled to receive payment of allowance. If something unexpected happens, in Malaysia law, maternity leave during eligibility is 60 days and to 90 days until the end of the maternity period. This provision provide benefit for female employee who give birth to the children and their dependents. Lastly, 4.4 Section 42 restoring of dismiss of female employee after qualifying period. One of the amended Act in Part 9 of maternity protection. It just states in Section 42 that is a female employee should not be dismissed from the employment when she work in an organization during the maternity leave period unless the dismiss is due to the closure of business or staff. In addition, if a female employee remains absent from the work after the expiration of the maternity period or due to the illness improved by relative protection, the employee has the right to terminate her employee under his absence recess 90 days without being sued by the employee. This protection of women workers from dismissal on the ground of pregnancy and the childbirth lies in the Maternity Protection included in the Labour Act 1999. That's all from me. The next presenter will be present.